What would you do if your 8-year-old exposed your spouse's secret life over breakfast? That's how my world collapsed. Welcome to the Justice Vault, where we uncover real stories of betrayal, power, and the moment justice fights back. If you're drawn to the truth behind perfect facades, settle in. This one gets dark. Dad, what does sloppy seconds mean? My son Ben asked it casually, milk dripping from a cereal spoon. My wife Elena froze. The refrigerator hummed. The kitchen, the one I built with my own hands, suddenly felt like a crime scene. Where did you hear that? I asked carefully. Mom said it on the phone last night. She said you were hers. Then she laughed. 12 years of marriage, and that was the crack in the foundation. I'm Nick Callahan. I build houses for a living. I know when something's structurally wrong. And in that moment, staring at Elena's pale face, I knew this wasn't just a bad joke. It was a warning. That afternoon, I did something I'd never done before. I followed my wife. Her white BMW wound through the Hollywood Hills and stopped at a gated Mediterranean mansion. I watched her walk up like she belonged there. Hours later, she walked out in a different outfit. Black dress, designer heels, jewelry I'd never seen. On the arm of a silver-haired man old enough to know better. They kissed. Not friendly. Not subtle. Intimate. I followed them to Beverly Hills. Then to a luxury hotel. She texted me at 2 p.m., client meeting running late. By midnight, I was sitting alone in the house I built, realizing I didn't know my wife at all. The next morning, she lied effortlessly. But she made one mistake. She left her laptop open. What I found wasn't just an affair. It was an operation. Messages between Elena and her sister Maya. Tonight's client likes married women. Wear the ring. He'll pay more. Nick's clueless. Calendar entries at luxury hotels. Offshore accounts. Hidden folders labeled insurance, filled with videos of powerful men in compromising situations. My wife wasn't cheating. She was running a high-end escort and blackmail ring, targeting Hollywood executives, politicians, tech moguls. And then I found the line that made my blood run cold. Nick's getting suspicious. Might need permanent solution. Permanent. As in me. That's when this stopped being about betrayal and started being about survival. I went to Victor Reeves, a retired LAPD detective I trusted. He didn't sugarcoat it. These clients are powerful, he said. If your wife thinks you're a liability, that's dangerous. So we gathered evidence. Quietly, carefully. Surveillance, financial trails, client lists. One name stood out, Calvin Royce, a producer with serious criminal connections. Elena had been seeing him twice a week. Then Vic intercepted a conversation. Elena suggesting that if I became a problem, Royce had people who could make accidents happen. I listened to the recording 3 times. My wife of 12 years wasn't just betraying me. She was discussing eliminating me. If you're following this story and wondering how deep it goes, take a second and like the video. It helps the Justice Vault reach more people who love real justice stories like this. Now here's where everything changed. I wasn't the only husband in the dark. Vic identified 3 more men whose wives were part of the same network. A restaurateur, a surgeon, a retired cop. Different lives. Same betrayal. Together, we uncovered the full scale, an elite party hosted by Royce where business, corruption, and arrangements were negotiated under the illusion of glamour. So we flipped the script. With law enforcement quietly aligned and evidence ready, we walked into that mansion on party night. Elena looked stunning in red, confident, untouchable, until I stepped forward. Hi, I said into the room's sound system. I'm Elena's husband. Silence. Then I played the recordings. Her laughing about clients. Mocking powerful men. Discussing making me disappear. The room unraveled in real time. Wives turned on husbands. Guests tried to leave. Police blocked the exits. Arrests followed. Racketeering. Money laundering. Conspiracy. Elena's empire collapsed in one night. She got 15 years in federal prison. Royce got far more. I thought it was over. It wasn't. From prison, Elena tried one last move. She claimed I was her partner. that I'd helped launder money. If prosecutors believed her, I could lose everything, including custody of Ben. Then she crossed a line no parent should ever cross. She called our son at school and told him I was going to prison and he'd end up in foster care. When I found Ben crying in the principal's office, something inside me hardened permanently. That was it. We documented the call. She'd violated federal law, witness intimidation involving a minor. Her plea deal was voided. Her sentence jumped to 25 years. No parole. A permanent restraining order. Game over. 6 months later, Ben and I were back at that same kitchen table. "Do you think Mom will ever say she's sorry?" he asked. I didn't lie. "Some people can't admit they're wrong," I told him. "But that's not our burden anymore." A week later, I received a photo in the mail. Elena in prison. On the back, "This isn't over." I dropped it into the garbage disposal and turned it on. Because here's the truth. Justice isn't revenge. It's boundaries. It's consequences. It's choosing not to be manipulated ever again. She called me sloppy seconds. In the end, she was left with nothing. No freedom. No power. No control. Just consequences. And peace finally returned to my house. If you want more stories where deception gets exposed and truth refuses to stay buried, subscribe to the Justice Vault, like this video, and share it with others who love deep dives into justice and mystery. Because secrets always surface. And when they do, we'll be here to open the vault.